What are the top 3 sniper support weapons in Warzone 2 right now? Let's talk about it. So a couple things before we get into the builds today. If you guys like the content, make sure you smash the like button. It does go a long way for the channel. You can always subscribe to see more of this kind of content on a very regular basis. We're going to be covering Warzone, DMZ, and multiplayer. So feel free to sub, and you can always hit the bell if you want to be notified when videos go live. These builds were very hard to put out for you guys. The reason why is because there is so many things that go good as sniper support. Me and my boy Zay were just talking about how useful an Icarus tuned correctly would be, how good SMGs are, how good most of the ARs are. The thing is right now we're in a place where so many weapons are so viable. I love it, but these are my top 3. Later, we'll probably do one that's a little bit of a longer video, and we'll do like top 10 sniper supports, and we'll cover everything. But for right now, I need you guys to try these 3 builds. Let's get into the mine though. So where these 3 builds come from, in the midst of all the other builds that we could have used, we have the BAS-P, which is going to be our all-around. We have the MP5, the LACHMANN sub, which is going to be for our super aggressive builds. And then we have this M4, which is aggressive, but also really good at range. This is an also really good all around. So we have 2 pretty balanced builds, and then we have 1 really aggressive build. So stepping into this first, this is going to be really good up to about 30 to 40 meters. It is going to start struggling at about 50, 60. Now, when I'm building these, I'm not building them for range, so that's perfectly fine. Anything 30 and under, if it beams at 30 meters, I'm happy. That's the exact reason why I made this build. I want it to be efficient. I want it to feel good when I'm moving around, and I want to be able to pull it out very quickly if I need to, and that's exactly what this build does. It gives you a little bit of everything. Now, the first thing that we're going to go over in this build is we're going to go with the 12-inch Bruin. Now, the reason why we're going to go over this is because we're looking for the damage range and we're looking for bullet velocity. Even though we're not making this build to be like hitting 50, 60 every single time, I still want to be really stable when we're hitting those 30 meters. So after that, the way that we're going to tune it, we're going to tune it for the recoil steadiness, and then we're going to do it for the damage range down here. On this one, we are going with the SynGuard MKV. This is underrated. I don't really hear this suppressor talked about too often, but this is going to give us the damage range. That's why we want this one. And like I said, even though we're not going for the range, this one feels really good to use in comparison to some of the others, even the FSS Covert. So definitely try this one out. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and tune this for bullet velocity and recoil smoothness. Okay. After that, we're going to go with the Phase 3. Phase 3 is one of the best under barrel grips in the game, and typically I would probably run a commando if the Phase 3 wasn't here, but the commando's not here, so we're going to go ahead and run the Phase 3, and that's going to give us the aiming idle stability, which is really nice on this, and then the recoil stabilization. Hipfire is a bonus, especially because people, if they are pushing you closer, you are going to transfer from hipfire to ADS back and forth. So it is nice to have on these builds. Not absolutely necessary. I would do like full hipfire builds if I really wanted to, but still really nice. And the way we're going to tune that is we're going to go ahead and put the aim down sight. We're going to get a little bit of the ADS back from the other 2 attachments that we didn't get ADS on, and we're going to go for the aiming idle stability. And then after that, we're going to go with the Cronin Mini Red Dot. This is just a sight that I've been liking lately. Between the Cronin Mini Pro and the Cronin Mini Red Dot, both are really good. It's completely up to you guys what you want to use. Sights are pretty subjective, but definitely use something for these builds that is only taking your aim down sight speed, and not some of these other ones that is actually taking multiple things. Like look at the cons, you get the aim walking movement, and then as you push forward, you actually get a very small sniper glint. So make sure that it's just one of these early sights and reticles, and you should be solid. We're going to do that, and the way that we're going to tune it is we're going to go all the way far. We're going to lower that visual recoil, and just to make sure that our beaming looks really good from our perspective. And then we're going with the 50 round drum, because in Warzone and DMZ, bigger is better. So let's do the movement. It's nice, but it's also stable. It's hard to explain. I can't wait for you guys to try it. Okay, ready? So it totally could hit that 50 back there, but up into the 25, I mean, you're wrecking. That was all low shots. Those are the main 2 that we're going for, okay? So it's pretty nice. I think you guys are really gonna like this build. Now we're gonna take a look at the second build, which is the LACHMANN sub, or as you guys may know it as the MP5. This is for the really aggressive players. This is like if somebody literally drops right on top of you, pushes you all of a sudden, you're putting away your sniper and rushing into a building. This is gonna give you a ton of mobility, but also some stability. Now, the reason why for the stock, for instance, I didn't go with the stockless mod is because with the laser equipped instead of the mod, you don't really even notice that much of a difference in mobility changes, but this is so much more stable when you're aiming down sights and you're actually waiting for a second. It's so much more stable than when you don't have the stock. So we're gonna start with this build with the VLK laser 7 milliwatt. This thing is one of the best lasers in the game, and this is going to give us that aim down sight speed. That's what we're prioritizing on this, and it's going to give us the aiming stability and the sprint to fire speed, so you guys can move wherever you would like. After that, we're going to go with the FTAC M sub 12-inch barrel, and the reason why we're going to go with this, we're going to get that little bit of damage range, that little bit of bullet velocity, and then overall we're going to get the recoil control and then the hip fire accuracy. This is a really nice combo to have for an aggressive build. This is where I would tune a little bit more into caring about the hip fire accuracy, and it is actually really good. So we're going to back that up, and the way that we're going to tune this is we're going to leave this even actually, and we're going to go for the ADS. So damage range, don't really care about. As long as we're beaming at 30 meters, we're good. And then this feels really good right there in the middle. After that, we're going to go with the X10 RR40, and this suppressor is going to give us that bullet velocity and damage range and recoil smoothness. That combo feels really good, and I think is what makes this gun feel really stable. I've tried many of these, and even though you can lower recoil on some of these to give you a little bit more mobility, when I show you guys the build, you're gonna see how it feels. It's weird. It's a really good combo. The way that we're going to tune that is we're going to go to the recoil smoothness, and we're going to go for bullet velocity. Now, after that, we're going to go with the phase 3 grip, one of the best grips in the game. We just talked about this on the last build. And then on that, we're going to go with the aim down sight speed, try to get the max ADS that we can. And then we're going to go with the aiming idle stability for when we're holding a little bit longer, maybe waiting for somebody to run out of a building or so forth, and it's not moving as much. And then, of course, the 50 round drum mag, because in Warzone and DMZ, bigger is better. This thing is just, oh my gosh, bruh. This thing is just really fast. That's all we need. It's not necessary for us to hit that down there. All we need is make sure that this thing beams right there in that range, right? Pushing into a building, maybe across the way, 25 meters is just for what you're getting. It doesn't move. Let's see what it'll look like if we hit that one back there. Okay, so you actually could hit that back there. But right here, it just feels so good, dude. Build number 3, we have the M4. This is a balanced, aggressive build. It's hard to explain, but having the buffer tube on, but also having the high tower on, gives it such a weird combo between the world of being like hyper aggressive, like an actual demon, and then being slow, steady, and tactical. This is one of my favorite builds in the game right now. And if you were to make any changes to it, I would definitely say you can go to the 60 round mag. It does lower the mobility a little bit. I think it's perfect at the 45. I'm having a lot of fun at the 45, but if you were to make any changes to make it a little bit better, a little bit more sustainable as sniper support, I would say maybe go to the 60 round mags. Other than that though, I think this is amazing. This is the gun that I would choose if I felt like I was going to be fighting in some of the places on Warzone that had a little bit more of gaps between them, because this is going to allow us now, even though the last build actually kind of beamed at 50 meters, this is going to allow us to beam further if we absolutely need it, but we're still targeting what it's going to look like for us 30 meters and below. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go for the high tower, just because the high tower is just so good, dude. Like, it's just so good. We're gonna get the bullet velocity, we're gonna get the damage range, we're gonna get the recoil control. After that, we're gonna tune this, and we're gonna go for damage range, and we're gonna go for the recoil steadiness. Make this thing as stable as possible because we have the buffer tube on. After that, we're gonna be going with the FJX Fulcrum Pro. Now this one and the FTAC Castle Comp, which are probably the best right now, they feel amazing. I just really like how this one looks, but they're essentially the same. Now, one is prioritizing horizontal and one is prioritizing vertical, but you guys know me. When I run my M4s, I run the pineapple. So I like that it actually prioritizes vertical, and the Fulcrum Pro looks good. So that's what we're gonna go with. After that, we are going to tune this and we're gonna go for the gun kick control, which really helps when we're running the no stock option. And then we're gonna go for the ADS speed, which is helping us with that mobility that we're going for, even though it's stable because of the high tower. And then after that, we're gonna go with the commando grip, one of my favorite grips in the game right now on so many builds. It's gonna give us the aiming idle stability and the recoil stabilization. And then we're gonna go tune that for the aiming idle stability again, and we're going all the way for recoil stabilization to help us for a little bit of what we're missing from the last thing that we just tuned for vertical compensation. And then after that, we're going with the 45, and then we're gonna go for the demo D50 buffer tube. Aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, movement speed. This is what pretty much all the demons run on their builds. So putting this with the high tower is it's just such an amazing combo. So look at the movement on this. The only thing that some people might complain about is the iron sights, but you get used to them. Okay, let's go over here. We're waiting. Sometimes you have to wait for it to go all the way up. The only thing that I would say is sometimes at these further ranges, it's a little bit hard to see because of the muzzle flash. But I mean, dude, this thing is just... This thing is nuts. See what I'm saying? But this is what we're targeting, and look at how good. I mean, we're just... It just melts. It hardly is even moving. All you have to do is kind of like get the recoil down a little bit, and you could definitely get those further shots. Nice. This thing is a beast. I can't wait for you guys to use it. Let me know down in the comments what you think. It's gonna wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the builds. If you guys got some value out of the video, make sure you smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see more Warzone, DMZ, and multiplayer content. I would love to catch you guys by the stream as well. We are there almost every single day around 6 p.m. PST, and I know it's gonna be better when you're there. I hope you guys are very blessed. Hope you have an amazing day or night depending on where you're at in the world. Don't go anywhere. We have more builds for you. Check those out. I will catch you on the next one. And as always, happy shooting.